yet, but that's fine.
I see.
You can go live on the Instagrams.
Okay.
Okay, we got a little bit of time yet before noon. I started a little bit early, not on purpose, but that's quite all right. So I think we got about 2 minutes. But today we're going to be focusing on the Coronet Regent lathe. So this is the biggest lathe that Record Power offers. It is much like their mid-range lathe, the Coronet Envoy back there. So a lot of the things I'm talking about with the Regent are also applicable with the Envoy, but today we're going to talk specifically about the Regent. I am going to wait till noon because that's what I advertised to officially start.
Ethan?
Yes.
Do you mind moving this?
Yeah, I'll slice it over.
Ethan has rearranged the showroom a little bit for this video, and
A little bit of an understatement because we got the wood show coming up. Everything is everywhere.
I'm trying to video and I'm tripping on things, so I just asking him to do a little cleanup. But we've had some fun with these live sessions this week, or these little live videos. I think it's something we're going to try to do on a more regular basis.
Not so many in 1 week.
Not every single day.
Maybe once every couple
Yeah,
weeks or so.
we focus on something different.
Yeah, I can see us doing some on our own products, like the Flatmaster, Little Ripper, or Round Ripper, who knows. So we got about 1 minute till we'll officially get started. I accidentally started the live a little bit earlier than I meant to, but that's all right.
But for those who are just joining us, today we're talking about the Regent.
Sure are. The Coronet Regent. This is the biggest lathe that Record Power offers, and it's quite a nice machine. And we'll get into that. I mean, we could probably start early.
Yeah, we've got some people tuning in here, so you might as well get started.
Yeah, so today, like I just said, we are going to be talking about the Coronet Regent lathe.
Record Power is here too.
Record Power is also here. Probably Craig to heckle me if he needs to. But thanks for joining too, Record Power. But yeah, the Coronet Regent lathe is the largest lathe in the Record Power Coronet range. And it's really quite nice. Unlike a lot of large lathes, you can kind of see it here, it is fairly compact. So while it boasts some really large diameter stuff you can do, it's not incredibly long. So it doesn't take up a ton of space in your shop, which is unusual for a large lathe like this. So as far as the dimensions, it is an 18-inch swing over the bed. It is 24 inches long without the bed extension. The head will slide along the length of the bed, but will also swivel. So if you swivel that all the way to 90 degrees, you could actually churn up to a 39-inch diameter piece, which is ridiculous, humongous. Now, the swivel head lathes, almost every one of Record Power's lathes features the swivel head, but it's a really cool feature because most people aren't necessarily using that to turn on the outboard. A lot of people are just setting that on a 15-degree angle or so, and that is what they're using to turn the inside of their bowl. So you can imagine, rather than me having to lean over the bed of the lathe to get inside of that bowl, I can kind of more comfortably stand right here and do that. And at the same time, when I tilt that head, the tailstock also is out of the way, so I don't have to worry about the rear of my turning tool hitting that at the same time. So there's a couple of really neat benefits of a swivel head, but also with the sliding head, you could slide this head all the way to the back side of the lathe, remove the tailstock, and if you wanted, you could stand right here and turn just like that. So the swivel head, sliding head of the Coronet Regent is probably its neatest feature. But as far as the other items that are important, we got an 1.25 inch spindle thread on it.
Before you go too much further, I just want to say people are welcome to ask questions.
Oh, sorry, I should mention that. Please, if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to ask them. If you don't want to ask a question, totally fine. You can always email after the fact. I'm happy to answer that way. But if you want to ask a question, right, just put it in the chat and Katie will read them out loud to me. And they can get answered in front of everybody, which is kind of cool. Everybody gets to hear the answers that way. So, yeah, 1.25" spindle thread, which is the common thread for any full-size machine in North America. We got a Morse taper 2 on the headstock, Morse taper 2 on the tailstock. We got a 3/8 hole through the headstock, so that could be used for vacuum chucking or things like that. There's a 2.7 horsepower motor on this fella right here. So it's got lots of power. So if you're looking at the record lathe and you're looking for a lathe that is going to be able to handle coring or coring jigs really well, the Regent is probably the best choice for that. While the Envoy and even the Herald, you may be able to do it, the Regent is really well suited for coring. Now, if we open her up, just like all of the record lathes, we got 3 different speed ranges or torque ranges. So you can move this motor up and you can change the RPM or the RPM range just by moving that belt in different positions. For the most part, you're going to keep it in the center. That's going to give you anywhere from 500 to about 1600. So that is pretty much going to cover everything you're going to do. But if you have something really large diameter, you want to slow it down yet, you can go to the slower speed range. Or if you're polishing, you can go to the higher speed range as well. Now on the front side
just going to throw out a couple of people. Paul and Chris here are just commenting, nice looking lathe. It's awesome.
Well,
it is.
It is a really nice looking lathe. That is one thing I don't really talk about very often, but Record Power has done a really good job of making their machines look really good. While they have a lot of really great features, they also, the way that the curves are and everything sort of matches and the way the legs are, it's just a really attractive lathe, honestly. Now, one really cool feature I like about the Herald and the Envoy, they both share this. This box here is magnetic, so you can position that anywhere on the machine that you want. And then you got forward and reverse right here, and then your off switch. Now, one little interesting tidbit about the Regent that really differentiates it from pretty much all the other lathes in its class, we'll call it, in its price range, even differentiates, that's a hard word to say, differentiates it from the Envoy, is what's inside this little box right here. Not something we can see very easily, but a lot of lathes, when they come off the factory floor, they come with a inverter from China, a Chinese inverter, which in a lot of cases works well. But if you read a lot of forums, oftentimes the thing that a lot of lathes will, if there is a warranty, often will have to do with that inverter. Now, what the Record Power has done with the Regent, they have upgraded that to a European Eaton inverter, which is going to give you better power delivery and more reliability compared to a Chinese option. Nothing wrong necessarily with the Chinese inverters, but it is nice to know, peace of mind, you're going to have a European inverter inside this machine, European electronics, which is excellent. The other kind of angle of this lathe I think is important to look at is right here on its butt. I don't know what the word for that would be.
I'll do my best to get that.
Yeah, try to get that angle there. That just kind of shows you how much cast iron is in this machine. This is a very heavy machine. While it is compact, there is a lot of mass in a small area here. And when you have a large piece of wood on there, that isn't a very important thing, which is great. It has cast iron legs, which are very nice as well. Now, what else am I talking about here? Other quick things that you'll probably expect anyway, but there's a 1-inch tool post right here, so that's standard. This tailstock here is self-eject, which is nice here too. Let it pop right out. It comes with a live center, a spur drive, and a faceplate. But there are tons of other accessories that you can get for it.
One thing while you're on that topic.
Sure.
We have that table on the bottom.
That's what I was about to get to, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
good. I didn't want you to forget.
So there are some other really cool accessories that are available for the Envoy and the Regent. That table right there, I have in the incorrect position. It is supposed to be up right here. I just haven't had a chance to bolt it on. But it's supposed to go right there, and it is kind of a neat thing because your turning tools can lay right there out of the way, safely, not on your bed, but still within reach of what you're working on. And because of the laser cut coronet, when you do go to clean it out, there's lots of places for those chips to fall through. So it's not too terribly difficult to clean either. So that's an option that you can get with the Regent or Envoy. That is actually made in the UK and in the factory. The lathe itself is cast in China. They have the European electronics, but that particular accessory is made in the UK. The other accessories they have for it, I don't have on the Regent right now, but if you look behind the Regent in my messy showroom here, you'll see the Envoy. On the end of the Envoy on the left-hand side, we have an outrigger attachment. Now that outrigger attachment will attach to the side of the ways.
You want to go over there?
I'll go over there.
Oh.
And what it'll do is if you have this headstock angle and you're trying to do some big diameter stuff, you can position this pretty well anywhere you need if you're doing those gigantic platters. And this outrigger attachment here also comes with a curved tool rest, which is kind of nice. The other accessory that is popular for these lathes, they do have a bed extension. So right now we're 24 inches. You can add a bed extension, and that bumps it up, I believe, I might be wrong, but to 44 inches total. It could be 42. I'd have to double check that. But it does add quite a bit of extra to the capacity of the Regent here. Now, the other interesting thing, this particular lathe has a lot of really cool features. It can handle some really large diameter stuff, but it's priced, it's not unreasonably priced compared to a lot of machines in its category. So I think this lathe right now is on sale for about a little over $3,000. Some place between $3,000 and $3,100. I'd have to look exactly. I think it's $30.59.
I don't mean to judge you, but you should have had that information before you started.
I don't have my phones like anyway.
But it's definitely a very good sale.
It's a very good deal right now. It is on sale. And the other thing that's unique about really all of Wrecker Power stuff, but the accessories often on other machines are very expensive. But if you were to add a bed extension or the outrigger, they're all priced quite reasonably. I think the bed extension is about $300, which isn't so bad when you're comparing it to other brands here too. Now, all of the Wrecker Power machines come with a 5-year warranty, and that is true of the Regent as well. So excellent warranty. The only thing that's not covered under the warranty is the belt, any sort of wear parts like that. But yes. How are we doing on time so far, Kate?
You're at 13 and a half minutes.
Perfect. This one will probably be a little bit shorter than some of them because I'm just talking about one specific lathe here, but that's okay.
If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Yes.
I can say a couple of things.
Sure.
Since I handle a lot of the shipping things.
That's an important
These
aspect.
can be shipped very easily. They're crated absolutely beautifully. Wrecker Power does an awesome job of how they package these up.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I actually have a video on YouTube on what it looks like when you open up a crate, but they come in a nice plywood crate. But all the parts, like the legs and the ways and the headstock, are literally bolted down to the crate. So they ship really, really easily, really, really safely. And the crate, I believe, is 45 inches long by 27 by 27, and it's about 400 and something pounds. So it's certainly heavy. But they even do, if you were to pick one up, they fit in most minivans and larger vehicles, like SUVs and stuff like that. You're not going to put this in a smart car, but they do fit in most larger vehicles.
And they ship really, we have a lot of options to ship to terminals across Canada, and they ship really nicely.
Yeah, so because they're in a crate, if you're in like BC or Alberta, obviously you're not going to come pick them up. But if you live local to major city in any of those provinces like Edmonton or Kamloops, all these major cities have hubs that either Dan Ross or Manitoulin are based out of. And we can ship directly to a hub for easily $100 or $200 less than we can to your house.
Actually, we had one this week that we quoted somebody. It was going to be 700. They're in British Columbia. It was 700 something dollars to their house, and it was half the price. It was 300 something.
Was that the Kamloops that we shipped it to?
No. Yes.
Yeah, I thought we.
They live in a very less rural
Yeah.
place,
So
and
they were about an hour out of Kamloops, wherever they were.
yeah,
Maybe a little, but it was definitely worth it for them.
it was
to
half the
drive down.
price to go to a terminal.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, BC is the most expensive place we ship it to, but it's still not outrageous when you're considering a large piece of machinery like this.
We have this displayed in our showroom, so people are welcome to come and look at it here.
That's right. And we're also going to be bringing all of the Wrecker Power lathes to the Hamilton Wood Show, which is not this weekend, but next weekend. So if you want to see these in person and play with them and feel the knobs, feel the weight, and just have a feel for how it would suit your shop, that's a great place to come take a look at it, because we will have them all displayed there.
And that wood show is virtual.
The wood show is also virtual, yes. So there will, actually, there's not going to be anyone churning on this specific lathe, but the heralds will be used. I know there's going to be at least 4 different heralds at the Hamilton Wood Show on display, which is kind of cool.
So it doesn't matter where you are in the whole world. You can tune into the virtual wood show.
So you could log on the virtual show. You can see the lathes in action. Or you, of course, you are always welcome to come here to check out the tools.
And record, probably Craig, is just piping in and saying, great presentation, Ethan. I guess he has no corrections for you today.
Perfect.
And he's going to see you next week at the Hamilton show.
Yes,
So
that's another cool thing. So Craig from the UK, he has worked at Wrecker Power, I don't want to say forever, but essentially his whole working life. So if there's anyone that knows anything about how Wrecker Power tools are made, it's Craig, and he will be at the Hamilton Wood Show. So you're welcome to talk to him, talk about how they build their tools, how they design their stuff, and all those sorts of things. Also, Mike Davies, he is out of New Zealand. He will be at the show as well, and he is a world-renowned carver. So he'll be doing some really cool carving demonstrations. But Ruby Clure will also be helping out Wrecker Power in their booth. She's Canadian. A lot of you guys would be familiar with her. So you're welcome to talk to her at the show. Very well-respected woodturner.
should you talk about the live sessions they're doing directly from the
And
show?
then, yes, at the show, this will be an interesting thing. We are going to be doing in our booth at the show on Saturday afternoon, starting at 2:30, a live session. So this will be a session that's going to be broadcast to thousands of woodturners across the world. It will be live happening at the Hamilton show in Caledonia. So if you want to be part of that, to actually be there in person, just be at our booth at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon, and you can watch it.
And that session will be happening in our booth. It will be happening, part of it from Australia.
Yes. So we're going to have Theo Hairlampu. I don't know if I said his last name right.
You probably
Really fun to
butchered
say.
that.
He's going to be live from Australia, so he'll be live streamed into our booth. But also Ruby and Craig and Mike will be live streamed from our booth to the rest of the world. So it'll be a really interesting thing. There's going to be a lot of gears.
Hopefully we
that
can
all
make
work.
it all
Yeah.
work, but
It'll be an exciting.
it's going to be
test.
really, really cool.
So it'll be something that's never been done before, with woodturners from so many different places all around the world, all coordinating at the same time. But either it's going to be fail miserably, and that's okay, or it's going to go really well. Either way, it will be entertaining, so it'll be worth watching for sure. And that's happening Saturday at the Hamilton Wood Show. If there's any other questions, though, please let me know. We do have the Regents here. They are a very nice, heavy machine, and they are priced really well right now, especially compared to other machines in its class. So again, 18-inch swing, 24 inches long, 39 inches on the outboard, 2.7 horsepower motor, magnetic control panel that you can position anywhere on the lathe, and upgraded European electronics. So it makes for a very nice machine. So yeah, we can call it there anytime. You can send me an email at info@stockhamsupply.com, or just send us a message on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you got. Otherwise, I will see you guys later, and thank you so much for joining us this week on these little live session or deep dive tests. It's something we're just trying out, and I think it went fairly well.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys later. See you at the Hamilton show. All right, we'll shut her off.